Good morning, everyone. Today, the topic we are going to see is about proactiveness. For every one of you, when you hear the word proactive, the first thing that comes in your mind might be this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Yes, for me, I got introduced to the word or the term proactive is by this book. But the moment when I first read about this topic, the thought which I came to my mind was, this is so impractical. I could not apply these concepts in my life at any point of time. By to read in book, that is good, but in my life it is not going to happen at all. That was the time when I got introduced to the next book from the same author called Living the 7 Habits. If you have read this book, well and good, but if you haven't, I would strongly recommend to go buy this book and start reading it from today. But for your information, I'm not going to speak about this book at any point in this presentation. So, the first or foremost thing which we are going to see in this presentation is how this proactiveness can be applied in our daily life, might be in our professional life, in a most practical way. To start with, this is the story which we have heard hundreds of times in our childhood days, the ant and the grasshopper. For those who have missed this in your childhood, let me rewind it so quickly. So there was an ant and a grasshopper in a forest. When the time of summer, the habit of the ant is to store the food in its a nest or some house kind of thing for an ant. So what it does is it carries the food or a rice, one grain, on its head and it stores in its place. The grasshopper was resting in its place, asked the ant that why are you doing this? The ant said, might be in winter I might need it. But the grasshopper was mocking at the ant. Why do you need it in winter when you can just eat it now and enjoy the whole day? The ant did not listen to the grasshopper and carried on with its own job. At the time of winter, as the ant anticipated, it no creature or no animal, no insect could go out of its place. It was too cold. The ant was able to be in its own place and eat the food which it stored, and it survived, whereas the grasshopper couldn't bear the winter and it was hungry and it died. I believe everyone might have heard this story. This was not the story about the ant. This is the story about anticipation. The word anticipation is very common, whereas the word proactive is not. Irony it is. Let me tell you one more story which might easily connect with our everyday life. There was a happy couple. The only thing which made them sad was the point that they did not had a kid or a child. It has been 12 years since they got married, but they did not have child. They were waiting for so long, waiting for a miracle to happen. They attended, communicated with all the doctors in the city. Finally, after 12 long years, the celebration day came. The baby was born. It was a blessing. They were so happy. They were celebrating it to the core. After 2 years of the child was born, there was one day when the husband was leaving the house to the office. He saw a rat medicine or the rat killer, which we used to have as a trap for the rat, was at the kitchen. The husband, in a hurry to go to office, he said to his wife that, please take it away, keep it away from the child. The wife said, okay. The husband went to the office. As the husband anticipated, he got a call in the afternoon saying that The child has eaten that rat killer and it is not well now. It has been taken to the hospital. The husband hurried to the hospital, all the way crying, crying along, because that was a blessing they had after 12 long years. The moment the husband reached the hospital, the news reached him that the child was no more. The husband knew that this happened because of his wife, because he had informed her, anticipating. The wife did not listen. Now the guy has all the right to become angry, to become frustration, to shout at that lady, to leave that lady alone. But you know what happened? You'll not believe. The husband was proactive enough. He thought for a moment, by shouting at my wife, by scolding my wife, by pinpointing my wife that because of her the child is dead now, is there anything that is going to change? The child is going to come back? No. He has anticipated. The only thing the scolding, the blaming, the guilt can make is can break his wife. She can completely disturbed by the emotion. So what he did was he said, "Don't worry, darling. I'm there with you." You can ask me, how can he do that? That is proactiveness. In spite of the situation, in spite of whatever the challenges you face, the problem you face, instead of reacting to the situation, you are taking a break, thinking and proacting to it. Let me come to a place where we can do it in our daily life. You will not believe, if there are around 10 people who are listening to the presentation, I would say all 10 of us are proactive people. If there are lakhs and crores of people in the country, all of them are proactive. You wouldn't believe it, right? Let's take an example of a common employee of a company. Every one of us earn our money or get a salary in the month beginning, and we continue or save that money for the whole month survival, right? For the food. So we are being proactive. We save the money for the entire month. Anticipation. Every driver who drives a car or a van keeps his leg in a clutch on accelerator brake, anticipating something can come in between, keeps the hand in the gear, anticipating that he might need to change the gear. All the vaccines which is injected in a small baby to prevent the disease which has not been there. So that is proactiveness. A server who serves you water before you asking it. A server who serves you water anticipating that you're eating food, you might get hiccups, the food might be spicy. Proactiveness. Guy or whoever it is carries an umbrella, just looking at the cloud, it might rain. Anticipation, proactiveness. So by any way, all of us by nature are proactive, but the question is how a successful man differs from all other common men. That one additional step towards successful is, I would say, conscious proactiveness. By nature, everybody is proactive. So how to make it consciously proactive? So the proactiveness should be injected in your mind that you know you're not reacting to the situation, you are proacting to it. Let me tell you how to incline on conscious proactiveness. Whatever the habit change, whatever the daily task changes, if you think that you cannot change it in a short span, yes, you are absolutely wrong. Each and every situation you face in everyday life, let it be office, let it be your sale, let it be your pitch, let it be your taking the lead or negotiating, whatever it is, Be proactive enough. Try to change at least one thing in a day. Try to rewire your thinking, rewire in your mind. Use proactive language. So you might have seen in our previous presentation last week, use proactive language. Have proactive people around you. So whatever the situation, try to analyze how I can react to the situation, how I can proact to the situation. If I react, what is going to be the reaction from the other party? If I'm going to be proactive, what would be the reaction from the other party? Just try to segregate each and every situation at least once in a day, and you'll not believe, after 20 to 40 days, the statistic says minimum is 21 days, maximum is 40 days, it will become your habit. To conclude, let me ask you one question. Which is the letter which starts the word proactive? You might have guessed the letter P, obviously. But no. You know what is the answer? The letter which starts proactiveness is U. It is you. Nothing can change you better than you. Thank you for joining the presentation.